Assalamualaikum everyone, hope you're all fine. Welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be doing the practical paper P4 9618 MayJune 2025 and the variant is 42. I'll be doing one very important question from this paper, and this is related to question number 2. And in this question, the very first time this question in the practical came about the hash table. Hash table is the file organization. It is the storage of the data, and it is the data that you already studied in your chapter number 13 in your paper 3. And it in this method, the record is stored into the field by calculating its field using an algorithm. And this will be doing in this program, in this question, with an array which has space for 200 records, and each data item is stored in a specific index of array that is calculated using an algorithm. This is something that I'm talking about the hash table, and means calculating the key field, and this will be done by an algorithm. And the index is calculated from the key field using the formula key, and then we have a mod function with the 200. If two key fields generate the same index, then there is a collision. Any record that have a collision are stored in a second array. All right, spare. The array has space of 100 record. Now there is another array with the name spare, and this will be used when there is a collision in the hash table. Collision means the field that is generated is already used by a record. So in that case, this spare array will be used, which will have 100 records. And when a collision is detected, the record is stored in the next free space in the spare. Now, the pseudocode record format is this, and write a program code to declare the record type new record using your chosen programming language. So we'll be using the Python, and the IDE is the PyCharm. So let's start it. So the class will definitely create or design this record using the class and new record. And in this, the constructor we will use, the constructor is always used to put the data, and the data of this class is the key. So self dot underscore underscore key, and definitely we'll be using the parameters, the parameter key, and the parameter item 1. When it is not mentioned that there is a data related to it, so we'll pass it to this class data using the parameter. So parameter item 2. So these are the self dot underscore underscore key. So we'll put key self dot underscore underscore item 1 is. So this is how we do this question, the part 1. For fulfilling the need of the Cambridge, we can mention the data type like integer as a comment. We can write like this just to fulfill the need of them. And one more thing that we can do here is I also will be using the, for the practical, we use the source file, and that is the evidence and the hash data. That two things are used here. So whenever you read the paper, you get the instruction in the start of the paper about the evidence file, that in which question it's going to be used. So you can see that the 3 source files are used to answer question 1 and 2. The files are the stack data, the second stack, and the hash data. So we are doing the question number 2, so we'll be using the hash data.txt file. So that's why I refer you to the text file. So this time in this video, I'll be using the evidence file as well. And in order to show you that how we can put the answers. So, and for this hash data, I have created a folder in the D drive, in my computer's D drive, and there's a folder named text file, and I stored that hash data here. when I'll coming on this file opening, then I'll mention you how to handle with this file, because this is something which is very important while dealing with the questions where the source file is used. All right. Right now I'm just using the text file, the evidence file, and in the evidence file, the first thing that you need to do is that you need to write your candidate name here, like I'm writing Nisar Ali, and your center number here, and then your candidate. This is the most important thing that you must be doing while writing your answers. And the second very important instruction that this time the Cambridge has given is that this file must be stored in the docx format, so docs, the latest updated version formats. All right. So like if I save this, it is important that you should select docx, the Word document, which is appearing on the top of the file type. So when you will be saving your evidence file, like this evidence, I'm putting the name here, Nisar, for example, this is on the, then I will be saving it with my name, and then the file must be in the docx file. All right. This year, the Cambridge has given this instruction that you must be doing it like this. All right. So we stored it, and now you can see it is stored in the upper format. Now, after finishing my first part of the question, what I will be doing, I'll take this answer. As you can see that in the paper, what is in the paper? In the paper, we have the program reads question number 2, sorry. Save your program as question 2, the file name. Okay, this saving is about your Python file saving. Okay, so when you will be saving it from the Python in the name question 2. So this is again an advice that when you will be working in the paper, in the practical paper, what you will be doing, each question will be saved separately. All right. So like this question, when it will be saved on your machine on which you will be attempting your question in the examination center, in the lab, IT lab, you will store that file as question 2 and J25, as it was the MayJune 2025. So it is with J25. So if it is like in the 26, it will be J26. Copy and paste the program code into a part. Now this is what I'm going to do, that I copy paste this data from here into this is the place. I will select this text, and the data will be stored over here. All right. So this is done. Now moving next. So this time I'll be following the evidence document as well while working with the question. Alrighty. So moving to the part 2. A is done, 2 marks question is done. Now B part says write program code to declare the global arrays, hash table, and sphere. So when it says global array, we can go straightly up, and we can, or even after the class, we can declare it is. So you can mention here is that the global declaration, and you will be declaring what? There are 2. One is hash table. This is one that you declared. And then sphere is, all right. So this is the requirement of the part B. So I'll just copy it and we'll paste it in the B part. All right. Okay. You should remember that when you finish your question, then only, sorry, the mistake I'm doing is that I'm copying it in the question 1. Let me take it. It's not question 1. In the evidence file, it must be in question 2. Yeah, here. So this is also going to be taken. All right, correct. So it was not question 1's answer. Okay. So keep saving your file so that the data is not lost in case of any problem. Now moving next, and that is the B second part. All right, so we are done with the B1. Now we are at the B second part. And what is in the second part? In the second part, an empty record has the integer -1 stored in each field. The procedure initialize stored an empty record in each element in the hash table and the sphere. Write program code for initialize. Now we are going to make another function procedure, that is initialize. And in the initialize, procedure initialize stores an empty record in each element in the hash table. So we are going to use the loops initialize. And the second important thing, that in any procedure or function, when you will be referring to the global variable, you must write global hash table global sphere. So you write the name of all the global variable that you require in your procedure and function. This is the requirement of your Python. All right. For I in range. Now, first of all, how many elements in the, there are 200 records. So actually 200 elements. So when it starts from 200, 0 till, so exclusive, not inclusive, 200 means 0 to 199. So now we will be doing hash table dot append, and then in this append we need to put the data. And what is the data? The data is to put -1 in each record, like in the key, in the item 1, in the item 2. So we have to use the class new record, and in the new record what we'll be doing, -1 -1 -1. All right, so this is one record. This is how the record will be updated in the hash table. All right, now for the spare, for I in range, again in the spare we have 100 elements. Spare has 100 elements. All right, so 100 element mean 100 records, so we'll be doing the same with it, but with the name spare dot append new record -1 -1 -1. So you can see that the spare will also get the data like this. So we have appended the global array, hash table, and spare with these 3 elements. It means we just initialize them. All right, we've initialized. Okay, so we are done with the question B's second part. Let's copy this, save your program, and put it in the evidence. It is important that whenever we are completing any part, we are putting that code into the evidence file. All right, so this is done. Okay, now what is the next part? So now how much marks we have completed? 2, 1, 3, 2, 5. 5 mark question, 5 mark answer is completed. Now the C part. This was the B2, this was the B1. Now the C part. What is in the C part? A hash value is calculated from the key field using the formula. Now we need to write another function, def, and the name is calculate hash, and we'll pass use takes a key field. So we'll pass a variable parameter key to it, and it's going to return it because it's a function. And key, and percentage sign is used for mod in the in Python, so we return it like this. So this is how we are done with this part as well. All right, so let's copy this into the C part. Okay, so the C part is done. Now let me save it. Yeah, saving the file is important. Now the D part, the procedure insert to hash takes a record of type new record as a parameter, use calculate hash to calculate the hash value. Now these are the bullet points that we will be doing in this question. So the procedure def insert into hash. Insert into hash takes a record of type new record as a, so we need to pass on the parameter to it. We can pass on the variable to it. All right, so what we'll do, we give we'll give it a name new record. This is the parameter that we pass, because I'm not using the parameter name as new record because the new record is the name of our record, so we need to have a different name so that it will not mix up with the other things for any further confusion. So n record is the variable that is used as a parameter. Uses calculate hash to calculate the hash key for the key field in the record. Okay, before we move forward, we need to again refer to the global hash table and global spare. All right, so we'll be referring it, and we need to calculate hash key, hash value. All right, hash used to calculate the hash value. So hash value is Now we'll call calculate hash, and we put the n record dot key. So the key will be taken from the record and it will be assigned to hash value. Okay. Now after this, we're done with this second bullet point. Third bullet, check if the hash value index in hash table currently store an empty record. Now we need to put a condition if hash value, hash table, and because it is an array, hash value dot key is equal to -1. If it is equal to -1, it means it is empty. So what will happen? The hash table hash value will get the n record. So the data will be stored in it. Okay. So we'll store the data like this. Else, if it is not the case, means there is a collision. All right. So what it says, if the hash value currently stores an empty record, if the index does not an empty record, store the parameter in this index. If it is an empty record, stored, it is in the index. If the index does not store an empty record, store the parameter in the spare. Now we need to refer to the spare. Again, we need a loop because spare is another array, and it will have, for I in range, it will have 100 elements. So inside that, again, we need to put a condition if we are not putting if, it is for I in range. If spare I dot key equal to -1, then spare I will get the new record and break, so that it will not iterate further. It will store that record next time. So this array, this loop will be used to store the record in the spare table if there is a collision. So this will not be true, means there is a collision. Okay, there is an existing value, or the space is not empty. Not equal to minus mean that space, that location is preoccupied. All right. So this is what we did with the D part. You can assume there will always be enough space in the spare to store any collision. Write program for, so we write this, save it. Now we just copy this part again, and part copy it in the D part. All right, so D is done. Okay, now moving to the E part. In the E part, the text file hash data stores up to 200 rows of data to be stored in the hash table. Each row contains 3 integer numbers separated by commas. Now we need to refer to the hash data, which I showed you in the start, that I've saved it here in the D drive. Now this is the hash data. You can see this. This is the hash data. In this hash data, the data is, each line contains 3 information. The first one is the first one is the key field, the second one is the item 1, and the third one is the item 2. So you can see that a lot of data is stored in this hash data text file. So we are going to open this file, and what it says that the text file stores up to 200. There are 200 rows in it. So you can see while I scroll down, there are 200 rows, and each row contains 3 integer numbers separated by commas. The first number is the key field, the second number is the item 1, and the third number is the item 2. The first row in the text file contains, like, this is the data in the first row. The key field 646, item 1 is 12, and item 2 is 568. This I want. The procedure create hash table. Now we have to write this procedure. Open the file, creates a record for each row of the data in the file, calls insert to hash with each record. So these 3 things we'll be doing in this procedure. So let's start def create hash table, and in this table, and make it a habit, even if it is written, if it is asked or not, that whenever you're dealing with the files in your question, it is very good that you must use the file exception, like exception handling. All right. And what is that exception handling? Exception handling is that you are always approaching the file using the try exception. So before that, I just refer to the global variables and try. And what is after the try is except IO error. So this is something that you must use whenever dealing with the, and in the IO error, you just write print the file not found. Only this. All right. So now let's open the file. Opening the file is the requirement here. So we'll use file is open, and I am writing my own location path, text files, and hash data.text. Okay, I'm opening it too for read mode. I'm opening in the read mode. Now, this is the point where the students, they usually they get stuck, and they sometimes they don't know how to rightly approach the file. So the method is that either if your file is on the desktop, just get the right path and then write that path over here. And more better is that you store that, copy the file and put it here on the project area, and copy and paste the file here. Just by pasting, the file will come over here, and then without writing any path, you can access it. And the third method, which I usually follow, is that make a folder in the D drive, in any available drive, and with the name text file, and put that file in there, and then write this kind of path, D:\\, and then text file and so and so, and open it in the read mode. All right. So we open it like this. So the file is open now. Now what we have to do, we have to go to each line. So you know that in the Python, we don't have end of file function. So we'll use a variable line for line in file. This is one very effective way of approaching each line in your file. And then line data, I'm using a variable line data, and then line dot strip. So it will strip off any preceding space. Like, you know, when we open this file, you know that although we are seeing the integer numbers here, but actually it is all string. And in the end of every line, there is an additional character which is not visible, and this is a carriage return, \n. Okay. So this is the carriage return, and we need to remove this carriage return. And this removal can be done with the help of strip. So line dot strip means that any leading space will be removed. All right. So next is that now line data is equal to line data dot. Now there is split. What does this do? What is the role of this line? This line is taking the line data and using this comma as a separator to treat the data before and after it as a separate data. You know, this is an approach for a line. Now the data in one line can be tackled separately and with the use of this comma. So it means when we will be in like this example you can see here in the paper. Now this 646 will be one number when the comma will come, and 12 will be another number and comma will come, and 568 will be another number. So actually in the same line, the line data will have 646, 12 and 568, three different things here by using the split. So split is actually helping the line data to identify the occurrence of different datas in the same line. All right. Now moving next. Now we'll use the insert. We'll call insert into hash, and we will be inserting into hash. And you know, while we will be inserting, again we'll be use the class new record, and we inserted into hash. Now we use this insert into hash, and we inserted the data, line data, and its first element, its second element, and its third element. You know, the Python treat the line as a list, and it can refer to its separate part by using the index 0, 1 and 2. So this is how the data is inserted. Create hash table is finished. Now we move to the next part. Now let's copy this, copy all this into the E part. E part is done. Now in the F part, the procedure print square the procedure print square output the key field of each element in the array sphere that does not contain an empty record. Write program code for the print sphere. Def print sphere. So we'll be printing the sphere array, and again we need to just refer to the global sphere, and an array is needed here. We can use it by using I is equal to 0, and while sphere and I dot key is equal to -1. All right, we need to print the sphere I dot key. So we are going to print it, and then I need to be incremented like this. So this is how we do the sphere part. So this is the I question F's I part. So we'll just copy this and put it into F2 to Fi. So we just copy it here. Alright, so now moving to the main program. And again, it is important that you should be able to, you should mention the main part, def main, and if underscore underscore name underscore underscore equal to main, then that is main. Alright, so we write this like. Now in the main program shall call the procedure to initialize the array. So we just need to call initialize number 1, initialize the array, call the procedure to create the hash table, create hash table, call this, and then call the procedure to output the content. So print content of array sphere. So print sphere. All right, so we called all these, and this is the work, and before we copy it, we just need to test the program. So let's run it. All right, so there were some mistakes that I've just corrected. Basically, I used underscore underscore here, means I make it private, so I just removed it, because if we make it private, then we need to use some methods to access them. So I make it public, because we are not using the OOP concept fully here, we're just making a record with it. So this is the thing that I did, and now you can see the code is complete. So we copied the third part. Let me check. Question 2's F2 part. F2 part, we need to copy it. Yeah. So let's copy that, which is the print part. So the print square, this is the main program. 2 is now print square is already done. Print is done. The next is the main program. So main program, just calling the name of these functions, and we put it in the main, and then testing the program. Let's run this code, and you can see that the data, all data come over here. We can just copy paste it here, okay, from here, and we can paste it here. This is the last part that we did. And you can see this is how the program is completed. I'm sure you learned about the hash table and how the hash table is used in our programs. How we can, this whole program is actually calculating the hash key and then using that hash key to approach the record and store that record in the hash table. And if there is a collision, then that will be referred to the sphere table and it will be stored in the sphere table. All right, that's all for today. Take care. Allah Hafiz.